The problem is there's too much we don't know. It's like opening a book and starting from the middle, or try to imagine what a jigsaw puzzle looks like when all you have is a few random pieces, right? And not even the helpful ones like corners or edges, just vague. The trick is you find two pieces that connect. Then at least you have a place to start.
Hello everyone, my name is Igor, welcome to Geek Academy channel, and today we continue rewatching From Season 1 Episode 2. I've seen many videos on YouTube and I enjoyed some of them are really great, but a lot of videos about From are actually taking a couple of clues, couple of pieces of information and trying to find some answers and giving you some theories. I'm myself not a big fan because I believe that based on the information we have after 2 seasons, we can't really build any legit theory. But we can start building this puzzle that Jade was talking about in the beginning of this video, and we can start connecting as much as we can. So as soon as we're gonna get some serious clue, we will know what exactly is going on in Fromville. So in the last episode I told you that I'm starting to build my murder board, and today I want to show you already what I have. Then we're gonna go through episode 2 without retelling the whole story, just emphasizing the important stuff, and then we're gonna come back to our murder board. Okay, I'm using quotation mark because it's YouTube and they can actually think I have one, but anyway, we're gonna do this with episode 3, 4, 5, etc. I hope to finish all 20 episodes until September 22nd, when we're gonna finally see season 3. So let's begin. So right now this is the flowchart that I built for myself. This is only based on episode 1. This is something that we already covered. As you can see, it's very tiny, so I need to zoom in and share with you what we have so far. We have the talismans, okay, we have the symbols of the sun and the moon on them, and also the same symbols on Father Catherine's scarf. We have also symbols of ravens on them. And we know that ravens are mentioned a couple of times during the first episode and many times more during the whole season. We also have the poem by Edgar Allan Poe here. I wrote it here: deep into the darkness peering, long I stood there wondering, fearing, doubted, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. We have the American history, Civil War period. We have also some mentions of Native Americans. Probably. I'm not gonna go through every little detail here, I just want you to understand what's going on here because we went through it already in the video about episode 1. If you haven't watched this, you can watch it in the description probably, or in the pinned comment. I'm gonna put it there. Now you can see here I also have some information about getting in the city. I call it before the dome, basically what was happening in the city before it became closed and you are not able to leave. We are also stuck in the 70s, we have some fake brands, we have some weird things happening with electricity, like the music box turning on and turning off willy-nilly by themselves, and we have someone is watching theme here. So this is basically not everything, but you get the idea how I work on it, like the powers that are in charge here probably, the boy in white, Lake of Tears, seizures that are happening with Ethan. So all of the information that I'm gonna gather while rewatching the first 2 seasons, I'm gonna start adding it here. So eventually I'm gonna have this board as detailed as possibly I can make it. Anyway, as I promised you, let's go already through episode 2. So in the beginning we're again seeing trees, and as I told you already many times, trees are very important, but now we've seen Kenny attacking them, if you can say so. He's basically need to create some new pieces of chess because his father is killed, and obviously if you are still didn't get it, you're gonna have a lot of spoilers here. This video is only for people who already have seen all of the episodes. So if you're just watching From, this is your first time, you have seen a couple of episodes, this video is not for you. This is only for crazy people like me who are making those kind of boards and are willing to rewatch this TV show many times just to find some new clues. Anyway, we're moving forward. We can see Jim is a little bit panicking. Okay, he's behaving a little bit weird. You can explain it with him being new in this place and not necessarily knowing what to do here, whether to trust Boyd or not to trust Boyd and Christie. But you can also say that we are seeing here how monsters are affecting people and making them behave a little bit crazy, not exactly good for themselves. Because we can see that Jim really wants to open the doors.
Are you gonna let him in?
Why are we waiting?
I'm not letting him in. I'm gonna help him in then.
Jim, no!
Jim, look, stop. Oh, hey, Jim, I need you. To...
He's not listening to Boyd, he's not asking him questions. He's like, no, I'm gonna open the doors. So once again, I think we are seeing that monsters can affect magically or telepathically, whatever you wanna call it, our heroes.
Runners on the hill! We got runners on the hill! Runners on the hill!
So this scene was kinda weird for me. Let's rewatch it together. You're seeing it right now on the screen. You can see that this girl was, I don't know, once again feeling telepathically that somebody needs help. She's going forward and then she's like, oh, what's going on out there? But the windows are covered. How is she able to see that somebody is running there? This scene was a little bit weird for me. Once again, when I was watching this TV show for the first time, I told myself, okay, this is not a big budget show. Okay, some things are probably were done, you know, like, yeah, whatever. The people who is watching it, they're not watching it for those kind of moments. They want to see monsters, etc. But now, after watching it so many times and seeing how the creators are actually really patient and really detailed with everything they're telling, this moment once again is kind of weird for me. I don't know how to explain it, but you know, not necessarily good directing here. And now we're getting to the interesting part. Julie here is seeing the monsters for the first time and looks like she's recognizing one of them. Now I heard theories that this guy, this young guy, is basically Thomas, the child that Matthew's family lost, as we know. I don't believe it's so, because one of the arguments was that we don't see this monster ever again, but we do actually, we're gonna see him again in season 2. But if we're gonna look at the monsters behind them, we can see one of them is dressed like Milkman. And all of them are dressed in periodic clothes. It feels like 50s, 60s, 70s. If we're actually checking a little bit about history, we know that the decline of Milkman became somewhere in the 50s and 60s and went through up till the 70s, so it's probably not someone from 80s or 90s or something like this. I also heard a lot of theories that basically because we're gonna see Halloween decorations in the school, this is because they were just dressed up. Okay, somebody was dressing up as cheerleader, somebody was dressing up as milkman. I also don't believe it's true, and I'm gonna explain to you why. Because if we're actually gonna check what is this young guy is wearing, he has a symbol of J. Thanks to the people that I'm talking to in comments and to my Telegram group that I created especially for people that enjoy those kind of TV shows like From, Severance, etc., we were able to find this symbol. This is a Jamestown High School. Okay, you can look right now, this is the same symbol that the cheerleader were wearing, and this is also the same logo that you're seeing right now on the screen from the real school in Jamestown. And as you can see, it's also the 70s. So it does feel like this is someone from the 70s. It doesn't seems logical for me that it's just a coincidence, that the creators of the show were like, okay, let's just use some random school from the 70s and dress them up like that. They are probably trying to tell us something, I don't know exactly what, but I do remember that we're gonna see a suitcase in the caves where monsters live, and in the suitcase it's written also New York. I also know that Jamestown is kind of close to Canada, and we know they're filming in Canada, and we know that they're filming in Newfoundland. Okay, once again, if we are coming back to the theory about the Beotooks and about the Native American people and seeing the first pilgrims that came to this place, this is all was happening somewhere in this area. Once again, I'm not a YouTuber that's gonna tell you, okay, I found this information and now I know this is a monster from Jamestown and no, I'm just providing you information and I'm thinking with you. This is the point of those videos. I don't want to talk at you, I want to talk with you and I want to discuss this TV show with you. So let's move forward. We can see the bride, she's probably was teleporting. 1 minute she's there standing behind the monster, and in the next scene she's already coming closer to the truck where Jim, Boyd, Christy and Ethan are. So I don't know, but I've seen this teleport happening a couple of times. I don't think that monster necessarily have the ability to teleport, but it's just something that I noticed. Anyway, moving forward, this is the first time ever that Ethan is having this kind of seizure. Okay, and if we once again jumping forward in episodes, we know Sarah's gonna have a seizure like that and Elgin is gonna have a seizure like that. So I think having a seizure is somehow connecting you to this place, to one of the powers that are basically ruling here. I don't know exactly which one, but it probably not the same voices that told Sarah to kill Toby. Because we've seen already, they know how to communicate with her without her falling on the floor and having this kind of seizure. Anyway, we're moving forward. 2 cars, and I think this moment is kind of nice because we were seeing, I think her name is Trudy, this girl, she's gonna get killed in episode 6 or 7, and she's saying like, I've never seen that before, I've never seen 2 cars arriving to this city. I'm gonna tell you why exactly I liked it just in a couple of minutes, but meanwhile, let's move forward to Donna. So Donna is basically gonna give the speech to Tabitha, and we can see that there is a calendar behind her. This calendar from March 1971 is from the company Rendezvous Move. And Rendezvous Move, as we remember, we've seen already this U-track that Boyd was carrying when he actually arrived to the city. This is the Rendezvous Move trailer, and I checked the details from March 1971, it's a correct calendar, and basically I don't see anything else but the trees once again on the image. I cannot even start guessing what does it mean, all of these X's on the days, and why is there a question mark. Okay, the theories here can be limitless. The only thing that can limit you here is your own imagination. So from aliens to vampires, you can think anything here based just on those dates. So I'm not gonna even start, we're just gonna remember that the calendar exists and March 1971 was somehow important. We need to remember this because I'm pretty sure, or at least I hope so, the creators are gonna come back to it and explain to us why. And why it's once again Rendezvous Move, a fake company that never existed, but the creators are putting it twice already. So as I told you, we've seen it, this is Boyd's trailer, and why I wanted to show you this image, because in the comments for the previous video, a lot of you wrote that maybe, and I like this theory, that maybe only the brands that are inside this Fromville are actually fake, but everything that comes from the outside is real, like cars, shoes, clothes, etc. But we can see that Boyd here is actually carrying from the outside, it's before they got into Fromville, and the Rendezvous Move trailer already behind his car. So this theory doesn't hold. But anyway, once again, this is some crucial piece of information that we need to remember. Those fake brands are there for a reason. Another thing that's worth mentioning is, if we're looking at the promo material for season 1, have you seen Boyd Stevens? Missing since November 15, 2019, he was last seen with his wife Abby and their son Ellis traveling south from Pittsburgh, VA towards Wilmington, and see in a SUV with the U-Move trailer hitched to the back, sorry. So U-Move trailer, it can be just a mix-up, it can be just something that was changed basically after this poster, this promo material was released, but it also sounds a little bit weird for me, why we can see here that it's a U-Move, but in the TV show it's actually Rendezvous Move. Just another piece of information that I think it's important for you to know. We're moving forward. As I told you, why it was important, why I enjoyed Trudy saying that it never happened before, because I really enjoy the creators, the writers here are using this moment to show us how special is Victor and how long he has been here. Because when Alice and Trudy talked about 2 cars, they were both like, yeah, we've never seen anything like that, even close. And Victor is saying it hasn't happened in a long time. So we understand he's been here for a while, and probably many years more than anybody else. So it is special, and I enjoy the theory that says that basically this is the start event in the cycle. That every couple of years we have some kind of cycle that needs to happen every time. All of those years that we've seen in Lighthouse where Tabitha was having her vision, maybe it's every time that a cycle was beginning, and every time it starts with 2 cars entering this place. Maybe, I don't know, once again this is something we'll have to watch and see. Another thing that is interesting for me is the technology in Colony House also looks like something from the 50s, 60s, 70s. So it's once again, it's telling me that this place up until the 1970s something, 1980 even maybe something, was open. You could go in and you could get out of it. So something happened. Something happened that closed this city and you are not able to leave anymore. If you look at this soda machine, we can once again see Krillman's Cola. This is the second time we've seen this fake brand. Other brands are not brands really, this root beer, grape soda, and the 2 below I wasn't able to understand what's written there. Now regarding this machine, I asked ChatGPT, I uploaded this image and he told me that it's 70s, 80s and basically based on the design, so it is probably 70s, 80s. If we are coming back to episode 1 and we're checking the music box again, the latest song out there was from 1987. So I think this is the year that this place was actually closed forever, which means that Victor probably lived in this place and had the ability to live, but he was a child. Another thing about Krillman, there is a real person, he's a CEO who created actually a beverage company, his name is Bill Krillman. I think it's a coincidence, this is somebody who is alive right now, alive and well, he's doing amazing business. I don't think the creators of the show actually meant him for that. There is also James Krillman, some kind of Canadian-American writer, and the only thing he's famous for is an interview for Pearson magazine with Mexican President Porfirio Diaz, okay? Once again, I don't see here any connection. If you do, please write in the comments, I'm just sharing you what I found. Anyway, we're coming back to the drawings. We can see a lot of drawings by Alice, a lot of Fatima, we can see the image he was drawing in episode 1, and of course trees. How you can create drawings without trees, it's impossible here. Now another thing that is interesting for me here is that when they look outside at the night, and if you look closely at the moon, it looks CGI to me, okay? And it looks like we have a smaller moon inside a big one, like it's so light up that you can actually see the dark part of the moon. And as I told you, in school they have some Halloween decorations. I don't necessarily 100% sure it's a Halloween. Maybe it was some kind of a school play. It does looks a lot like a Halloween, you know, all those rip tombstones, we have bats here. Yeah, it does look a lot like Halloween, but I don't know, maybe it's just my personal preference. I don't think the monsters are dressing up, because once again, as I told you, dressing up as a kid from Jamestown school doesn't necessarily feels like something right to me. I don't know what you think about it. Once again, I would enjoy reading your comments. Anyway, we can see that Sarah is hearing those voices. It's a they, so she's hearing a lot of voices, which is important, and they are telling her to take Toby's tongue, which is weird. She's even asking, all of it? Yeah, all of it. After she's gonna cut the tongue, they're gonna tell her to make it look like it was monsters. The whole point of Sarah killing this guy sounds a little bit weird, because she could have just opened the doors for the monsters and leave, and the monsters would do the same thing. They would kill Toby, they would kill Kenny's father, but they told her to kill Toby and leave the door for the monsters and still this figure Toby to make it look like it was made by monsters. Their plan seems a little bit weird for me, because you could achieve the same thing just by opening the door. So it means those spirits, those voices, wanted Sarah to actually cut the tongue. They want some kind of a very creepy souvenir. Now, once again, I asked Google, I asked ChatGPT, what do we have in folklore? Some kind of spirits, some kind of monsters that enjoy taking tongues. And ChatGPT told me about Iya. It doesn't necessarily take tongues in a brutal way, but it's a spirit that makes tongues disappear if people are lying, so they're not able to speak. The only reason why I actually chose this spirit and not some Christian mythology or Greek mythology or anything like this, why did I choose Lakota mythology? First of all, it's Native Americans and it connects to the history part of this. And another thing that I enjoyed here is it's a storm monster. And it's also a brother of Iktomi, the spider. So it kind of creates here a connection that I think we can work with. We've seen spiders in the end of season 1. They are basically having some kind of magical powers. We've heard Ethan talking about the spider that came from the ceiling. And we have actually a drawing of a spider going down next to some kind of lake. Maybe it's a lake of tears. And we also have a storm in the end of the season. And this storm is coming out of nowhere. So once again, I'm not necessarily saying to you that this is Iya and Iktomi, but maybe this is something that served as an inspiration for the creators while they were making the forces that are in power here in Fromville. So I'm not gonna read you all of it, you can pause the video and read it by yourself, but I think it does sounds a little bit interesting for us. Anyway, once again, drawings by Alice. We can see here a lot of Fatima. We can see here some kind of two dudes wearing, once again, some kind of periodic clothes. Don't know exactly what it is, just remembering it for future sake. The tapestry here, we already spoke about it, we've seen it in the intro. We can see the whole city, we can see a strange monster, and he's bleeding all over what I presume is Fatima and Alice, okay, who are portrayed here like Adam and Eve. We already talked about once again in previous video that we know that Fatima is gonna get pregnant. This is gonna be the first birth in this town, so it does feel a little bit connected to Adam and Eve, creating the first people. I don't know exactly how, but once again, this tapestry is somehow connected to the whole clues and ideas that we have in Fromville. Moving forward to another interesting theory, because if we're talking about Hollywood and Hollywood TV shows and movies, usually when you have a photo of somebody and a small piece of this photo is turned apart, it probably has some crucial information. Maybe it's not, maybe it's a red herring, I don't know exactly, but we can look here at Donna with her sister, and the photo of them are turned apart. This little corner here on the top side, on the right side, is turned apart. And if you look once again closely at the image, it does look like something was scratched out of it. Look at this again. I'm gonna try to zoom in here. It doesn't look like something that happened just through time. It doesn't look like damage of time. It looks like somebody took a coin or something and tried to scratch as hard as they could to erase some information. Maybe there is a crow or a raven sitting on Donna's head, but I doubt it. But it does look like that, and I think there is some hidden information here that we haven't discovered yet. Anyway, she's talking about that she's been here for 3 years, 6 months and 70 days. And if we're once again gonna check this promo material, check the date when the Arizona family, the Matthews family arrived, went missing, and when Donna went missing, it is actually 1297 days, which is 3 years, 6 months and 70 days. So the creators are following their promo material and they're following their details. This is why every time something is not matching, I'm not like saying, oh, this is just, you know, a mistake by the creators, because I can see that they put so much effort in details, so every time there is a mistake, I think it's in purpose. Anyway, we're moving forward. Once again, Lake of Tears. Ethan is waking up. He says he saw it. He saw the Lake of Tears, and it was a drawing on... We're moving forward. Ethan here is waking up from his seizure, from his dream, and he's saying that he saw it. He saw the Lake of Tears, and it was a drawing on the wall, and he's seen Victor's room. Now let's try to check some of the drawings here. Okay, we're seeing here some kind of like a weird map. Of course, houses and trees. Trees are basically like circling the house, and around the houses we have some kind of like domes, like those toys, you know, where there's like a house or something inside of them, and there's usually like a fake snow or something like this. But it does create a feeling like trees are the ones who are responsible for this place being closed. And I wouldn't be surprised if this becomes true, because we know already that trees are kind of important and they're pretty magical. They are moving here, okay? Victor is gonna count steps toward them, if you remember, and he's gonna notice that they are moving. There's also some kind of weird white monster. He's basically doing like booga 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 or something like this. And we can see some structure, and around the structure we have some arrows and circles with X's inside of them. I don't know what this structure is. Maybe it's the lighthouse, maybe it's something else, maybe this place where Boyd was in the end of season 2. Maybe all those circles with X's are actually Victor's way to remember where he hid some of the stuff. We already seen in trailer for season 3 that he's gonna dig something. So he's probably has a lot of stashes hidden here around this place. We've seen some kind of family of 5 people. We're seeing once again a figure of 2 person. I don't know why. Maybe it's a boy and a girl. Once again here also a boy and a girl, and they're looking outside and seeing probably a monster. And this is maybe Victor and Eloise. Once again we see here monsters, some track, some water object. And it looks like a boat that is basically gonna go through some kind of a gate. Can't tell you exactly what it is. I think one of the most important images here is this monster, this black monster, and around the crosses, this is probably the church. Okay, this is the place we have crosses like this for all the people that died. And as you can see, the monster is basically like he's coming out of the ground. And if you remember in season 2, Boyd with Donna and I don't remember who else, they were trapped inside a car, and something attacked them from under the ground. So maybe the big boss, the big bad, he's hiding under the ground, and maybe he was buried under the church. We know the church there is the oldest building, and maybe this is what started everything. Maybe this big bad was actually somehow buried there. This place was built on top of it to know exactly where it's buried, and now this creature creates some kind of cycle, and everything needs to happen again and again for it to escape. Anyway, we're moving forward. Again, a couple of drawings. We can see the dog, which is obviously also important, the same dog that is alive already for a couple of decades, which is not possible, as you know. And Victor is drawing a car crash, which is not exactly something he could have seen. And if you look at the cars, they don't really resemble the cars that actually had a crash in the first episode. We have some kind of an orange car and a white car. Now, if Matthews's House on Wheels can be described as white, Jade's car was basically not orange. So I think he's drawing here just what happened the last time he actually seen 2 cars crash. And maybe since he was able to see it, to see the crash, he was part of the crash. He was part of this family, just like Matthew's family, that actually started some kind of a previous cycle here when they were here in the 1970s. I don't know. Anyway, we're moving forward, but somebody screamed because the spider came down from the ceiling. The spider, once again, we spoke about it, maybe it's somehow connected to Lakota Sioux and their mythology and their beliefs. I don't know exactly what it is. Nightmare, we can see once again that the monsters, this is how they look. The clothes here, I don't know exactly which monster is it. I know it's just a nightmare. Maybe it was done just for the sake of a jump scare, and there's not many information here, but once again I'm just sharing it with you. Sarah, butterfly symbol around her, probably telling to us that she's gonna experience some kind of a rebirth. Sarah, I don't know exactly what is wrong with her, but something has to be wrong with her, because any normal human being, even being stuck in this kind of place, is not gonna listen to some voices and start killing people left or right. Even if those voices are telling you that this is the only way to escape from this place, you need to have some disability in your brain to actually believe this and start acting upon it. Okay, you can believe it, but start to act upon it, start killing people left and right. You have to have something there psychologically that is not working. Some kind of a loose screws have to be there. Anyway, she's telling a story and she's saying once again, they told me it had to look like it was the monsters. Maybe they just want to torture Sarah and see how far she can go with them telling her to do anything, basically. You know that eventually they're gonna tell her to kill a kid, to kill a child, and she will be willing to do this. So yeah, maybe they're just checking how far they can break her. You remember once again season 3, we have this monster cowboy telling us we couldn't break you, that's what you said, and they really want to break him. So maybe this is the whole point of it. I actually think it's kind of logical, but once again we're gonna get to it. We're getting close to the end and we can see that Boyd is looking at the key for a yacht to Boyd. Love always. This is a gift from his wife and his son. We know that already. We're gonna talk about it in details already when we're gonna reach it. I think it's episode 6 or something like this. We can see that Norman is the most important thing to Ethan. When he is saved from the truck, he is holding a box where Norman and this second toy, which we still don't know who that is inside of it. So this is what is the most important for Ethan. And this whole connection to the storytelling, to the Chrominocle, to everything that's happening here in this place. Now we actually talked a little bit about supernatural, you know, like if Sam and Dean were actually in this town, we would get answers a little bit faster. But if you remember in Supernatural, there was also a theme that when you are a hero of the story, you don't have the time to have stomachache, okay? And the writer will never give you this unless it proves something for the story. So maybe this whole healing factor that we're gonna see here on Ethan, on Alice, and even on Jim, that you can actually recover here pretty fast, is also somehow created to storytelling, where the heroes are not gonna be able to, you know, like you cannot make Ethan recover for 4 seasons of this show. He needs to do things, he's one of the main characters here, so this is why he's recovering fast. Just a theory, just a thought that I'm throwing out there. Anyway, we can see here, if you remember in episode 1, Julie was telling Ethan a story, and she was telling that Norman is dead, and Ethan really wanted for the fairies to come back and save him. And she told him, if you're dead, you're dead. That's it, you cannot go back. And here, she's basically taking her words back. She's saying, Norman, they made it back from the Lake of Tears, and Norman is alive, Norman is saved. So it can be some kind of an allegory to what happened to Matthews. I know I told you many times that I don't want to believe that they're dead, that this is a purgatory or something like this, but it does have this feeling of, no, you can come back after you die. Okay, this is how you do it. So maybe it's just some kind of like a parallel stories. I hope I explain it correctly and understandable. This basically, we have the story of Matthews are falling to their death and somehow surviving a 100% chance of being dead, and they somehow survived. And on the same level we have Norman, who died but came back and is alive again because the fairies came back from the Lake of Tears. Anyway, the kid here is looking outside, he's not exactly with Julie, he's focusing on somebody else. And we can see the boy in white. This is the first time we see him, and he chose Ethan to appear to him. We're gonna know already that he was also talking to Victor, showing himself to Victor, and he was pretty quiet for a while. And he waited for Ethan to come to this place, which also again argues for the theory that this whole thing, Matthew's arriving to this place actually starts some kind of a cycle. And the last thing we see here that he's saying, shh, you cannot tell anybody that you see me. This is why Ethan doesn't share it with Julie when she asks him, what are you looking at? And he's like, at nothing, because he's telling him, shh. Now, as I told you, let's get back to our murder board. We have some clues here that I already added, and right now we're gonna start adding them to already existing threads. So the first one, we have the boy in white. He is one of the forces, one of the magical forces in this place, of the supernatural forces. So we're gonna go to the powers, and we're gonna connect it to the boy in white. I'm gonna make this image smaller and connect the arrow here. Everything that I'm gonna learn about the boy in white, I'm gonna add here and see as soon as it connects to anything else. Okay, we're gonna create all of those lines and all of those connections. If I'm gonna do something, I'm just gonna fast forward it if I'm not talking. Boyd, we can see the yacht, and let's get back to Boyd. Let's move him here. Now, this is something that I want to already start talking about, and this is the theme of hope. Okay, we know already from season 2 when Abby, I think it's a fake Abby, was talking to Boyd, and she told me that this place feeds on hope. And we remember what happened when Boyd was arriving to this place with his family. It was connected somehow to hope, because they were looking for a new life, a new boat, starting a pension, and enjoying life after years and years of service. This is all a hope for a new life. Okay, so it does connect to hope. Okay, we're moving to our next clues. We have the fake brand, the Randes move, and we have here let's connect it to the city, all the fake brands. Let's add it here. Let's make it smaller. Okay. And once again, it is connected somehow. It's a fake calendar of March 1971. Next clue, it's Donna and her story. She's the one that's not connected to anything related to hope. Maybe there is something that she still didn't tell us. Okay, from her story, she was just hunting with her sister and they just happened to see the tree. Nothing related to hope. Okay, there is also a theory that Donna is somebody else. Maybe it's some kind of a witch and this is not a real Donna already, or whatever. She's like an agent of some sort of matrix, whatever you want to call it. But if it's really true, one of the clues that almost every story we hear of the people that entered this Fromville somehow relates for them having a hope for a new life. And Donna is the one telling a story just about hunting. And as I told you, if we're taking the clue for Kenny and his talk with Father Guthrie, okay, he's telling him that when they found their father wandering around the city and his mother was very angry, when they were driving back home, he felt hope. He felt that this is their chance to start again from a clean slate. Once again, the theme of hope is repeated with Kenny, and if we're talking about the Matthews family, they also kind of had a hope for a new life. They're getting a divorce, this is the last hurrah together, and they are actually also looking for a new life. All of them are also somehow connected to death, but we're gonna get to that already in the next episode. So right now I'm just gonna fast forward a little bit because probably it's not very interesting for you to see me doing all this stuff. And that's it. Okay, so you get the point, you get the idea. I hope so at least. This will help me to actually get to answers as soon as they're actually gonna be available. As soon as we're gonna get this piece of the puzzle that gonna make everything clear, I'm gonna know exactly where to put it. This is the purpose of this board, and as you can see, yeah, I'm a bit crazy about this show, and this is basically what I'm gonna do for every show that makes me think like this. I enjoy it, it makes me feel like a detective. I hope you enjoy too. If yes, you can support this video by liking it, writing some comment, maybe subscribing. I really want to reach 1000 subscribers before September 22nd, so you know, it's just a milestone that every YouTuber wants to get to it as soon as they can. Anyway, if you can help me with that, I'm gonna appreciate it a lot. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm gonna see you in the next video. Meanwhile, bye!